make it informal, and start sharing, start posting for the next 2 minutes. So for those of you who are here early, a very good evening. I hope you enjoy your May Day weekend, long weekend. Tonight is Saturday night. I'm so glad that so many of you have decided to spend the nice hour in the night to attend The Future Is Now. So we are about 6.5 minutes away from the start of our program. Thanks for your patience, and we are live actually. So we are going to. So please bear with us. This is our opening slides. It will be there till we start. And may I remind all of you that you can share it if you're on Facebook. If you're not on if you're not on your mobile, you're on a desktop right now. It's a good time to look at your mobile. You will find the live video either on my Facebook profile, Wendy's Facebook, or Tim or Irene. If you're friends of any one of us, you wouldn't miss it. Right now, there's 17 of you. Please hashtag the future is now. And if you have any questions to ask any of our speakers, you can put it down onto your Q&A. If you just want to give us an encouragement or feedback, you can do it on a chat. So we are going to be live in 5 minutes, so bear with us. Continue to let your friends know. And if you know any one of us, you can start putting in your chat. If you see a familiar face, you can say hi. So also allow me to check on my Facebook. Oh yes, so Facebook now has 15 people watching, slightly less than what we have. We are about 4.5 minutes to launch of this webinar. So the future is now. COVID is the ultimate disruptor, and today we are pushed onto the future, and this is what we really need to do. We really need to bring ourselves up to speed and raise our game a few notches by focusing on our core essential skills in the future, and of course get ready to brand ourselves. You know, it is said that all of us has a personal brand, and if we don't do it ourselves, somebody else will do it for you, and that somebody else may be called a perception. So it's very encouraged now. We have more people on Facebook watching us than here. And for those of you who are here, I can't say hi because I'm on the full screen, but I'll get to you very, very quickly. Thanks for all your messages. So remember that if you have a question to ask me, Wendy, or Tim, you can put it in the Q&A. All right. So I'm just telling the idea in the near future that in between a long webinar break of an hour and a half to two, we may have some musical performance by some musicians, but that is of course on the planning stage. I think that's a good break because we have a lot of webinar that give you a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and insights. But I think we need entertainment, especially in Malaysia right now. We have the MCO in Singapore. We have what they call the circuit breaker. 2.5 minutes now more to go. So thanks for your patience and being here early. If you know our friends will sign up early, please text them and to say the party has started. And of course, if you have some feedback on the key takeaway of tonight, you are free to comment your own video. Do remember that every engagement that you have will be attributed to the first video that is posted, which is the video on my timeline. So we really, really need your cooperation to get this party started. we have slightly over a minute more to go. So now the people on this channel itself, and of course the Facebook is right about the same. We have taken just about 8 days to plan for this event, because today every day in during the lockdown or the circuit breaker or the MCO period is like a week during the normal time. So when the new normal starts, you can be sure that everything will be compressed time. So we are living in a very wonderful time. I think this is the best time that we are alive, because we are seeing something that we have never seen before, and not even our forefathers have seen. So it's now 9 o'clock. A very good evening to one and all from Singapore, Malaysia, and the rest of the world. Just keen into the chat which country you're from. So we really appreciate you engaging with us. So every time when we do something, we will ask a question and you can put in your answers onto the chat. We want to know where you're from, and we want you to now just do an icebreaker and just put one word that comes into your mind, what this pandemic to you is all about. What has it done for you? What has it done for you positively for this pandemic? So this is going to be an awesome time. So keep your answers coming. And of course, we need your participation. Once again, for those of us who just join us, that we have our Facebook Live already on. And if you look at any of our Facebook page, if you're a friend, or you may have seen this on somebody else Facebook, please share this video. If you can organize a watch party, you need to be staying on that page in order for the watch party to move on. So uh, I guess you can simply just share the video, and everything that you do will definitely go a long way to help us to spread the message. And please don't forget to highlight hashtag the future is now. Post your questions on the Q&A, and if you have any comments, go on the chat. So to kick off tonight, may I invite my fellow speaker, Dr. Wendy Liew, to give us some opening. Wendy, please.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Oh no, so good evening. I'm actually very excited. I see many people from all different countries. So we have like from Singapore, Manila, even from Penang in Malaysia and stuff like that. Well, without further ado, I will really want to introduce someone really special to me. I've known him not really long ago. And of course, how we meet each other, the beautiful platform of LinkedIn. Andrew is a very good friend of mine, social media and PR strategist, an entrepreneur, a speaker based in Singapore. He is actually having 5 different career in the last 33 years. That is amazing. I have a few career just in 1 or 2 years, but this is a real deal, yeah. So of course, he's one of the best-selling author of a highly popular series of 3 books, and I have actually read all the 3 books. A certified speaking professional, spoken in over 20 countries within 10 years and address more than 10,000 people, 100,000 people. This is really, really impressive to me because it's really not easy to be invited to speak all around the world. And then, of course, he organized a personal photo exhibition and have actually raised $10,000 for the charity. So, of course, I'm sure that you do not want to hear me more. So let's actually give the biggest round of applause to my brother, Andrew Chow. The floor is yours, Andrew.
Thank you very, very much. And now let's get the ball rolling. So thank you for the wonderful introduction. Okay, the future is now. And the question I really want to ask everyone is, are you ready, or are you already being removed from the equation? This is a very important question because we need to answer something very fundamental. But of course, uh, these are the these are the three books that Wendy has said. So I will not want to waste time talking about myself. So if you're wondering what the five different careers are and which year I was doing what, this is a very very easy slide to see. You can do a screenshot and you can Google more about me if you like. I went to different places. So these are just some of the cities that I went to. Uh, the one on top is actually Moscow, the very, very last international city to go to before the pandemic started. So today we're going to discuss this three important things. What is digital transformation versus disruption? There are a lot of difference, but we got to make sure that we can distinguish them. We are going to talk about the future of work, what kind of skill sets are most important for everyone, and of course, we're going to discuss what are the personal development roadmap that all of us need to have. So we need to understand disruption because we need to surf the wave as a winner. If not, we just merely swimming on the surface, and if not, worst of all, we start sinking. So we need to understand what is transformation and what is disruption. So if you look at throughout the history of evolution, uh, there are many eras that were defined by 20 years and some say 10 years. But now you look at the different stages of growth is so fast that every 5 years it look like a century. So 2020 is a very very landmark year because when we talk about transformation, it's already over. We are already transformed and we are going to the new era. And of course, we are pushed into this new era by this pandemic. So today you will find that everything is not just faster, easier, cheaper. Everything is now linked to technology. In the mindset, it's that every rule has been broken. Everything that works before has been challenged. So how do we stay relevant? Is we must be able to define what is digitization, what is digital transformation, and what is disruption. So if a bank sends you a statement in PDF, that is not transformation. That is just digitization. It's just sending you something that they used to do manually in a digital format. That it has nothing to do, that will not help you in gaining a competitive advantage. But if the bank can give you some data analysis of how are you spending money, then that is different. There's the integration of technology to everyday life. That is the real digital transformation. Now, what is disruption? Disruption is really causing a problem so big that your competitors got to rethink their strategy. So if you can see the treasure inside digital transformation, you will begin to cause a disruption. Of course, today the biggest guy to disrupt ourselves is not anyone else but a tiny, tiny invisible virus called coronavirus. All right, COVID-19 for short. So we just want to understand that transformation does not replace jobs, replace tasks. Meaning to say, if your task is full of just repetitive assignment, be it cognitive or not, you will be replaced. And if you think about it, the real drivers for all this innovation is not because your boss says so, but because you need to make customers happy. They tell you what they want, and we drive for innovation. So AI, as we all know it, makes our life more meaningful. We begin to find more meaning in our life. There's no point competing in speed because the machine is faster. There's no point competing in being smarter because they are smarter. Instead, I challenge all of you to be more intuitive because being intuitive is what being human is all about. So be more human and you can find a way to design better machine. Of course, having said that, the less emotional you are, the faster you can master technology. So please don't hate technology. Please don't say things like it's meant for the young people because we all of us are young. If I were to quote you a story, you remember a few years ago that AlphaGo was created a program to play Weiqi Go, and Lee Soto, which is the number one player, was asked to represent the human race. All right, we have a man versus machine, best of five. And can anybody remember the score? Okay, you can remember the score, please write it down onto the chat. The score is 4-1. Now, he was so confident at the beginning, but he lost 3 in a row. And by the time he come to the third game, he was so stressed, he was so demoralized, and he apologized to the whole world through the press. And then the organizer mentioned, let's play a fourth set. And you know what? He was so relaxed, he won. He created a move that is so unique that confused the machine. He won game 4 because he was not emotional, he was not sad. But of course, the machine won game 5 again. Why? The machine learned from him at game 4. So, what does this lesson tell us? The less emotional you are, the better you are in understanding how machine thinks. So, you can sit there and do nothing. Now, what is the best way to kill a frog? Is to make sure that the frog is placed on a basin that has a temperature of the water raised 1 degree every hour. And before long, he will die a happy frog. So you lose everything, you will do nothing. And the final word that I want to leave with everyone for the first part is digital transformation is never about technology. It is a strategy about the future. Of course, it involves human being, not just technology. So this is just a overly complicated charts used by consultant to define how different companies are at what stage now. So you can all the way from the left, no maturity, no discussion, no nothing, to being someone having a concept, you know what is it, but you're not doing anything, to the green column where you know it, you're doing something, you're having a pilot project, to the purple zone where everything is being integrated between department, and of course the black zone that you go all out to make it a culture. It fills down to the way you recruit people. So having said that, what do you need in the future to survive? So may I suggest 5 skills? Number one, you need to be agile in digital. So my mom, who is 76 years old now, is still learning the ways of digital. She is, the other day she was asking me to set up a PayPal account for her because she is now interested to go shopping. So at her age, why would she want to go e-commerce to shop? Because she knows that 活到老学到老. So for those of us who don't know Chinese, we need to learn no matter how old we are. So learn the ways of digital. Always have a hungry mind. Always go to Google. There are a lot of courses that are free. If I may suggest, you can go to Google Learning Garage. There's so many free courses. You'll be amazed that such things are actually available on Google for free. So you got to learn how machine thinks, which is AI, how machine learns, which is machine learning, how machine process and help you, that's robotic process automation, and of course, how machine test the algorithm. So this is how they work. You got to understand that AI is nothing but the art of human thinking translated into machine languages. The second skill is called data analytics. Data analytics, we talk about big data. It's really data that is not found in your company. This is the thing that you want to know. You need to know the size, the volume, the velocity, how fast are data being collected, variety of data, where are they coming from? There's so many sources that you can actually have different. So there are so many things about data that you need to understand. Whoever can see new relationship between two unrelated data can create wisdom and insights. So be the one, be the guy that can see new things and create new things out of it. See new relationship, and the rest will be history. You need to master some cyber security skill. You need to know how to protect yourself. You should actually be learning how to different ways of creating creative password that you can never forget. Okay, so there are many ways of keeping password. The worst thing to do is to key in all the password in an Excel file and keep it somewhere on the cloud. And that will be the worst. It's just like giving a master key out at the doorway. All right, anybody can pick it up. So learn how to protect your privacy and learn cybersecurity. Of course, in the future, it will be the gig economy. Everybody can be your own boss and everybody will be a super freelancer. So it is high time that we learn what is entrepreneurship, learn how to build business from scratch, how to develop from ideas to implementation. Ideas are always cheap, implementation are always expensive. So if I may suggest that if you go into a business, make sure you at least have one of these 8 items. You need to give people immersive experience. You need to give them some augmented flexibility choices. You need to be multilingual, and you need to give round the clock availability. So that's not all. Maybe some autonomous capability like driverless car. You need to provide safe and secure environments for e-commerce. And you need to create new buying experience, social commerce, not just e-commerce. Last but not least, if you can do something about smart home, you have a game. So these are 8 areas that I want you to focus on if you want to go into entrepreneurship. Last but not least, learn how to serve people. The better you serve, the better you win over people's heart. The better you serve, you will be able to know what are your customers doing, what will they be doing, what are they thinking, and what would they be thinking in the future. What are they feeling and what would they be feeling? So if you can connect soul to soul, you are able to build buyer persona much faster than your competitor. So guys, in the last part of my talk, I want to talk about the personal development roadmap. What do we need to do now, fast, in order to survive? So messages a few ways. Number one, I think if you are millennials, I think you should start to connect much more. You need to be able to connect and find a coach and a mentor. You need to create space for growth. Go and find a mentor that you truly respect and start to grow out of it. So uh, do not be afraid to reach out to your boss. Can you be my mentor and coaches are different. Mentors are really people who are interested in your life, and then coaches are interested in your performance only. So a coach is being hired, a mentor is being invited. So you need to develop lifelong learning attitude. So if you think you need to be retrained, go for it. Redeploy, you need to suck it up and just go. If you need to rehire for some purposes, just continue to sharpen your skills. And some of you may be only given a contract, so if you need to be recontracted, so be it. So just embrace whatever that comes to you, and hope that you won't get the last read that's released. Never be released, because as long as you can create massive value, you will never be replaced. And of course, to link up to the next topic from the next speaker, I want to talk about personal branding. So, are you the ambassador of your company? What do I mean by that? Are you active on LinkedIn, making the name of your company travel far and wide because of what you are doing online and the thought leadership that you provide through your posting? Are you the advocate of transformation? When you learn new things, do you share about them? Are you the authority in the industry itself? So think about it. These are some of the development roadmap. Are there skills that you know that you can do better than anybody else? Are there people who owe you a testimonial but didn't give you on LinkedIn? Go and ask from all these people. And if you're an employer, you need to focus on employer branding. And I'll submit to you that today is about an employee experience. It's no longer really about employee engagement. So for anyone who are looking for some kind of employment, they will match their branding to yours. Because all bosses out there, CEO of 50 men, 500 men, 5,000 men, you need to exercise great leadership, self-leadership. So how can I serve you better today? So this is the end of my talk. I hope that you can recall my 3 points. Number 1 is to understand digital transformation is different from disruption. Point number 2, there are 5 skills that you need for the future. Number 3, you need to develop a personal development roadmap 5 years into the future from now in order to master a lot of relevant skills. So I do personally some of this, and I want to give everybody here tonight something to take home. So tomorrow you get an email of this site. So if you are a participant, you'll be given a discount code. There are many free courses on this particular learning platform itself. And of course, you can take all those free courses, but in case you want to take some of the paid courses, some of the courses that requires you to invest a little bit of money, I will send you a discount code that when you enter this code, any course you take, you'll be given a very flat fee of 25 US dollars. So take as many courses as you want, get yourself upgraded, and I think that will be absolutely essential. So I have only taken 18 minutes, so I'm very glad that you're here to listen to me. And of course, this is the statistics of this course itself. All right, I only have 6 courses that requires a fee. 28 of them are free. And of course, these are some of the courses that you want to look at. Okay, and all of this you just need to pay 25 US dollars for each one of them. So a code will be sent to you 24 hours from now, not even 48 hours. All right, so keep in touch with me. My handle is IDS Andrew. I'm available all over the internet. All right, um, except TikTok. I'm trying to get myself an account. So the next section, I want to introduce my good friend who is helping us, Wendy and myself, to visual records all our keynotes today, and he's a virtual visual engagement strategist. Besides a keynote speaker, he does a lot of coaching and workshop. He's written a book called The World of Visual Facilitation. So right now, maybe I'll invite him to take the mic for 5-10 minutes to really share with you what he can do for you as an organization. So without further ado, let's join me in giving a round of applause to my good friend and the visualizer for tonight, Mr. Tim Hamon. Tim, please.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. And hello, everybody. Thanks for joining the session. And just as Andrew said, we do strategic visualization for companies, for events. We help to bring your ideas to life through visual stories, and we do that through models and structures and strategic maps and visualizations. And this is especially important in our new online space where we miss the face-to-face connection and engagement. Visuals help you to bridge that gap, to create more engagement, create more connection with people. We help to create a better story and curiosity around what's being said and what's happening in the room. So this is what we're doing also tonight. And I'll just take a moment to share one of the highlights from Andrew's session. There we go. He had 3 key points. This is the point number 1 on digital transformation. So I was doing this drawing while he's speaking. I have a little bit of a head start, but capturing some of the key points. So it's a way to make this into a story. Again, as I mentioned, stories is how our brain thinks. Our brain loves stories. A picture is a parallel to a great story that's presented, and it's putting it into a metaphor of the wave. Are you sinking or are you riding that wave? And then he told the other points around digital transformation and the rest of it. So thank you, Andrew. And I'll stop my share there.
Yes, thank you very much, Tim. So now let me get back to my introduction. I'm going to introduce the next speaker. Of course, the second keynote speaker, and it's also a good friend of mine. She said that I'm a brother from another mom, which I agree. We know each other 2 years ago on LinkedIn, and somehow we got connected. Sometimes maybe we both commented on a mutual friend's post, and then we somehow get connected. So she's Dr. Wendy Liew from Malaysia, and she's a certified image consultant, a certified international business etiquette and protocol consultant. She's a licensed practitioner of NLP, a luxury brand management consultant, certified menswear consultant. Imagine a lady certified for menswear consultant. She's a professional makeup and hairstylist artist. She's also a she's the author. I think she wrote a book, 100 Best Dressed Men and Women. I think there are 2 versions. I'm not sure. Okay. She's also a multiple award winner entrepreneur. She's the president of AICI Malaysia from 2018 to 2020. So she has a long list of accolades. All right. It's a tongue twister even reading them. And I think this is also a time that you want to hear from her about personal branding. So without further ado, let's join me in giving a round of applause for Dr. Wendy Liew. Okay, Wendy, it's all yours.
Thank you. Let me actually share my screen first. All right. Well, good evening again, everyone. Tonight we will actually talk about how to actually use personal branding to expel or excel in what we are doing in this new normal, especially the pandemic now, whereby it creates a lot of confusion. Now, actually, let us start talking about this one. Now, I've actually 6 pictures here. What I need you all to do is that choose the picture, okay, that actually resonates the most, yeah, with you. Choose the one that resonates the most with you. Now I need Andrew's help to actually share me the pool. Yeah, now please probably give yourself about 5 seconds to choose this one. All right. All right, time's up. Okay, let me share the results. Yeah. Okay, so now most of the people are actually choosing C. All right, so I will actually get back to you on this particular pictures. Yeah, on there are reasons why we are choosing C, and of course we have led thousands of people and people from all different countries, yeah, to choose the exact same pictures, and we concluded that the accuracy rate is more than 80%. And of course, why we start with this is because I need to know the persona on most of the people, how is their current state at the moment, okay, and of course what are they expecting just by choosing this one. All right, so now I'll end this first. Okay, now let us actually start talking about presence. When we talk about the word presence, yeah, or maybe when we talk about personal presence, what is it all about? Now, a lot of people, we might think that we know it, but in fact, there is also another big question mark on what is presence. And presence is something that cannot be seen, you know, that it is not there. But we talk about presence, it also leads to a lot of doubts that we have in life. For example, when we talk about doubts, yeah, now, a lot of time we always ask ourselves why this person do not really like me. I don't know why, even though I've tried to do everything the best I could, but yet this person still do not really like me, for example. Or even when we also always ask ourselves, for instance, like I have been working so hard and yet nobody appreciate this. Or even when we talk about even relationship in, as in like spouse, we will also always have this in mind, as in like, hey, I'm actually dressing up today and yet you cannot actually notice all this. Now, I hope that, yeah, for this particular section, after this 30 minutes or lesson, you will understand or clear your own doubts, as in like why all these things happen, okay, as in like why there are a lot of things that we have done and yet people cannot see. Just like a lot of employees, they have been working for the past 10 years, 20 years, and of course the growth in the company is just so little. Why is it so? So why they are actually trying their best to perform what they could, but in a way people cannot see as well. Now, because of all this endless why, people become very helpless. They are trying to, but in a way they do not know how or where to start or how to actually do it. But it doesn't mean that we are not doing our stuff the best that we could, or it doesn't mean that we are not good in a way. Now, when we are doing corporate training, a lot of employees come to us and ask this, you know, I say, why? My boss is not good, this and that. And they always blame to the next person who cannot see them, even including at home or even with our spouse. You know, whatever went wrong, we will always actually ask, you know, why you never understand me? Because the word why you never understand me, we expect people to understand us. So if things go wrong in the first place, we cannot blame any one of the people. It's because if we are human being, we have something called inattentional blindness. Inattentional blindness is something that when you're focusing on something, we cannot see the rest of the thing. For example, if you have an employee, he is always forgetful, always blur. We have the tendency to remind the person every time you are giving them a task, for example. So why we are doing so is because we know that this person will forget. But even after some time, right, your employees might come and say to you, hey boss, I'm no longer like that. But you say, hey, remember, not last time you did this? Hey, but that was already 3 years ago. And yet we are still holding on into this one. And of course, I am a woman. I'm a woman. But most of the time, yeah, when our spouse do something wrong, or even your staff do something wrong, we will actually hold on back to the point that we used before. So why is it so? So when we talk about inattentional blindness, because this is so powerful on hitting us massively, just like COVID-19, we have to get rid of this to create the right presence that we now need. Now, when we talk about another type of presence, is that it is something that you can only feel, heard, or even seen. But of course, when you talk about presence, what is this all about? For example, if at home, if you and your husband, whatever the kids requested, normally the father say what? Go and ask your mommy lah. So it means that your presence at home is what? You are the person who gave permission. So if, let's say, for example, at work, you have something, a big project that, wow, these things cannot be solved. So the boss is, okay, please go and look for this person. It means that that is your presence felt in a company. You are a problem solver. So when we talk about all this, yeah, so what is our presence all about? If, let's say, for example, we are out there, hey, we must have this person, we must have this person. Why is it so? Oh, she or he is an entertainer. It means that your presence is felt as an entertainer. So this is our presence. So when we talk about presence, in a way, it is something that you already implant into a person's mind, and this is you. Just like when we talk about common things, burger, most of the people, if you ask 10, probably 9 of them will say, oh, I want to go for McDonald's. So this is also the presence felt of the brand. So how can we actually have the presence? So the presence, in a way, is the top of mind. How are you actually appear in the person's mind? When we talk about this one, a problem solver, this person is the person I should refer to. When we talk about this, that's it. So meaning to say, are you the top of mind in whatever you do? If the answer is no, or maybe, I have to say something very mean. So it will take you long time to go to the destination that you want. So that's the reason why a lot of time it doesn't mean that the thing is not good, or maybe you are not good, or maybe the project doesn't work. It's just that because we are actually going through a lot of obstacles from the human, actually not the project, it's all from the human. So that's the reason why after a while people quit it too soon. Yeah. So now, what is branding all about? The word branding has been misused, overused, or I have to say that many people are talking about branding, but yet what is branding all about? Now, branding is something, again, it's something cannot be seen, but it has to be constant. Okay, when we talk about the word constant, branding is that when you are so good, you are already a top of mind, and that's how your branding is established. In a way, if you want to be the top of mind, you have to know how you should actually play your game in branding. And like it or not, yeah, some people say, oh, I'm very simple, I don't need this, so long I do my work, I get my pay, that's it, it's good enough. Like it or not, we have a brand. All of us, it's not only product has a brand, but all of us, we have our own brand. And then, of course, as Andrew has mentioned, when we talk about branding, now the companies nowadays, if you are an employer or an entrepreneur, if you have a staff, sometimes we are also having another problem is that, okay, let's say, for example, the company's branding is good, but the employee's personal branding is not even aligned or in sync with your corporate branding. So there is also another things that people talk of. So meaning to say, from presence to being the top of mind in whatever you wish to, how well it is all about how you brand yourself. And why we need to brand ourselves is because the branding will lead us to something called identity. But before we move to identity, let us actually understand what is image all about. Now, a lot of people always misunderstand image as in appearance. Okay, they always say, oh, you are an image consultant, you do makeup, you do hair and stuff like that. It is beyond that. Now, appearance or image relate to how we appear visually is only one of the way, but not the only way. It's only one of the way, but not the only way. Now, image has to be actually not only an appearance, but your behavior, your communication, and most importantly now, especially in the new normal, is how you appear digitally. Okay, without any one of this, we can hardly have the right presence being felt, seen, or heard. Okay, in a way, how can we be the top of mind in whatever you do? By playing around with your image. Image has to be completed, with appearance, behavior, communication, and digital. And all this, once it is aligned and linked, that's how we are able to actually create the right alignment. When we talk about alignment, a lot of time, we always heard people will say that, Wendy, is okay. It doesn't matter. It's you. It's okay. When people cannot understand me, it's just fine. No, if you really ask the person deep down inside, is it just okay? How we wish, if given a choice, we wish that people will understand us. If given a choice, we wish that we were sending the right message, that we do not need to re-explain again. So when we talk about all this, in fact, it is not complicated. It's just we need a little bit of details. If you are details enough, or to actually able to make the alignment of your appearance, behavior, communication, and how you appear digitally, that's how we can actually create the right alignment. So when we talk about alignment, there is no magic. It takes time. But how can we create that? Yeah. Now, so once the alignment is formed, that's how we get something called identity. Now, what is happening now is that a lot of people, they are always being misunderstood. Okay, misunderstand as in what? For example, they are actually having this intention, but every time this intention is not really delivered. In a way, they will find that I think she is trying too hard. I think he is trying too hard. He is actually making himself look friendly, for example, but in a way, he do not look like one, for example. So identity is something that has to be aligned before we are able to achieve. Okay, so we have to look into the A, B, C, D, and that's how, once the alignment is right, we get that identity. Now, speaking about this one, first of all, back to this one. A lot of people, especially for those who have been long in the industry, have been long enough in what they do, they will have another question mark, is because when the pandemic hit them, they have to actually ask themselves again, including myself. So my brand has to be built or to create. Okay, but in fact, the answer is both. Okay, now for your info, branding has to be a constant work, meaning to say we have to constantly build and recreate our brand according to how we progress. Now, many of the time, when we are actually so busy into climbing our career ladder, maybe we are trying to close a deal or whatnot. So when we are in different phase of life, we have forgotten that what we have actually portrayed was for them. Okay, meaning to say, after a while, the higher you climb, the more you feel like, why people don't understand me already? And after that, what you will say, you will actually have something in mind, as in, I think this person is not my level to understand me. Now, speaking about this, this thing keep me actually thinking for some time. When we talk about, I think this person is not my level to understand. Now, in fact, the real good master, as in, like, if you're able to explain something that people can easily understand, meaning to say we are successful by what we see, what we say, and even our behavior, we are able to deliver it right. This is something that people want. So speaking about branding is to build or to create, we have to first create before we build. Just like there is a very powerful saying in Mandarin, 选择比努力来得更加重要. You must actually create it right, then only you work on it, then we will get it. So just like a lot of people will talk about, okay, please practice it. Practice makes perfect. This might not be actually right, and I'm not a fan of practice makes perfect. When you're practicing the wrong thing, you are perfecting the wrong thing. So that's why actually forever we cannot reach the place that we want. Meaning to say, a brand, you must first identify who you really are. You have to first create before we build. All right. Now, so impression starts, 55% is visual, what is being seen, what is being heard, and verbal is what is being said. Now, many people will say that, this one seems, why we need to work on this is because everything's relay to our brain is from what we see first. Okay, like it or not, we have to actually go into visual. Just like exactly some people will say, now I actually attending a motivational speaker talk. Yeah. So when you are actually at the moment when you are listening to the motivational speaker, we are so gung ho. We say, wow, this is so good. I really like what he said and stuff like that. We are so motivated. But back home, when you think of it again, after a while you will find that actually what the motivational speaker said you already know. But why at the moment of time you are so into that is because on what you see and what you heard. So in fact, actually the contents is only 7%. That's the reason why a lot of time, let's say 2% are actually trying to present an idea to the boss or maybe to the client. It could be the same exact idea, but why the client might take the others and not you. So meaning to say the contents is only 7%, but what is actually being seen and how you say it is more important. The sequence that you say, your voice, the confidence level and things like that. Okay, so for this one, a lot of people will come and tell me, actually the world is not fair. I say, why is it so? Why you will say that the world is not fair? Because this person is good in actually presenting. This person is good in saying, that's why he or she get the job. Or even a lot of employees say the same thing. Hey, not fair. Why this person is actually being promoted? You cannot blame why this person is being promoted, because she is actually good in speaking. That's the reason why a lot of things we have to know where is our missing gap, what is our losing bolts, how can we actually fix the leaking bucket. So now impressions is formed also by perception. Now perception is something which is very powerful. Whatever you see, you already have something in mind, and that's how you will have the impression. Now, so when we talk about this, we have a quick one about the tip of iceberg. When we talk about the tip of iceberg, this is something happening, I think not only in Malaysia, and in fact, this is something that is happening throughout to a lot of places. Now, when we actually go and learn in overseas or abroad, or even when we go and train, we find that a lot of people, the better their substance are, or maybe the higher the IQ, the more they don't care about how people look at them from the appearance side. Okay, they are really confident when they are actually so confident because they are very high in substance, they are very high in IQ. They just don't really care about the what people see anymore. Maybe yes, it's just a very small portion. Now speaking about this, sadly to say that when we see anything, people will judge from what they see. Okay, because this is also part of the halo effect. Now, because when we talk about the tip of iceberg, is that when we just see a little bit, but we will have a judgment as if we know the person well, and from there we will form our own perception, and this is also leads to impression. All right. So now that's the reason why what we need to do is to brand to shape perception. Okay, I repeat, it is actually to brand to shape perception. It is nothing to do with whether you look good or not, because many people would think that, oh, image consultant, you must be the person who actually help people to look good. But in fact, we are not helping people to look good. We are actually helping people to attract like a magnet. Now, when we talk about attracting like a magnet, people will say that if you do not look good, how you magnetize things? But actually, things do not work that way. No, looking good to attract something is just one of the way, but not the only way. Now, when we talk about shaping the perception is on how are we wanted, how are we wanted to be perceived in a way. So speaking about this, back to the first one, what is your presence? What are the presence that you want to be felt? So from there we work backwards, just like one of the Stephen Covey idea on the 7 habits. It's actually very much into start from the end in mind and how you want to actually brand yourself to shape the perception. Now, why we need this? Okay, so why we need this is because we have now to look into the relevancy, whether who you are today, what you do, or even your destination at work, your lifestyle, and the things like that, whether it is relevant to your image or not. Now, a few days ago, I did a live, and of course, right after that, I have some people actually wrote in to me and asked, is it really matter? Is it really matter on if we know who we are, if we know that we have substance, if we know that we are good enough? So is it really matter on how people look at us? Is it really matters on, doing so much things to make our image relevant? Now, of course, it depends on where you are at the present moment. Why we say present moment? If today you are leading a team, you are one of the someone that people look up, maybe you are holding high position, a lot of time is no longer about you. It is about your representation, because people will just have something called generalization, or might be actually having something called stereotype. So when we talk about relevant, in a way, when we are actually branding our presence, we have to actually put into all this, into consideration. Now, speaking about putting this into consideration, as in also we have to talk about how can we help our team to come up based on how you relate yourself to your image. All right. So now, first of all, can I actually know, how many of the people will remember the placement of all their apps icon in the handphone? If you have 2 pages, how many of you remember all the placement without looking at the phone? Now, in fact, I have actually trained more than 15 years. None of a normal human being can remember it all. And not even, maybe if I randomly ask them, okay, please tell me, on the second page, the third row, what is it? Most of the people cannot tell me. Now, this is also one of the things we call it as inattentional blindness. You look at your phone every 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or maybe you are holding your phone the whole day. And why not you remember? Okay, so if we cannot remember each of the placement of our own phone, if you are actually closing it without looking at it, so how can we expect others people remember us, among the hundreds of people? Or if you are actually an entrepreneur, if you are actually doing something that you are doing, how people relate you as one of the top of mind. So in a way, let us have a quick understanding on how memory works. Memory is a choice. We choose what we want to remember. Why, when we have something very important, you keep reminding yourself, okay, must remember, then only you will do it. So when we talk about memory is a choice, meaning to say a lot of time we are choosing not to remember. So just exactly like a lot of people, when they have, if this person have depression, so they choose to remember that particular thing. That's why it actually appear in the mind again and again, again and again. So when you ask me about this, actually during my uni days, I wasn't really happy about it, and I choose not to remember until to the extent people will ask me, "Are you really graduated from that?" So meaning to say, when we talk about how you want to raise or up your game, we have to understand the science behind that. So from how present started and from how memory works, how can we make people, okay, to remember us, okay, biologically? All right, meaning to say, how can we do that? Now, I cannot actually talk further on that because I just left probably about 10 minutes. Let us actually have a quick one on the future of image and brand management. Now, those days when we talk about image and brand management, everybody was talking about what is the color, what is your face shape, what is your body shape. To me, I choose to stop talking about this for a few years already, because what is our branding and how our presence is not so much on how you are wearing your color right, or not so much on how can you actually dress according to your body shape. Again, that is only one of the way, but not the only way. So what is the future of image and brand management? In a way, it's just a little bit link back on what actually Andrew has mentioned. It is now we are talking about digitalization, the pace, how we are actually being felt without seen. Meaning to say, when we talk about this thing, what is the first thing they come in mind? Why they need to mention your name? Why this is the business I have? Now we have limited resources, we have limited fund. Why should I pass this business to you? So when we talk about the future and image and brand management, it is everything about the identity of you. How are you able to create your identity right that relates straight away to the presence that you want to build? I hope that you will not be confused, because this part is actually the science. If you are able to digest and work this well, let me tell you what, this is one of the personal experience that for the past 5 years, none of the company will receive any of my email or pitch sending in without request, and none of the email will have actually someone from our office and call for business. It's because for the past 5 years, I am just using this method to make sure that business will just come by itself. And it is actually getting stronger and more powerful, meaning to say we are just needed to create the right identity that is aligned, okay, with who you really are. Now, speaking about this, before we move further, we just have 1 or 2 slides left. Before we move further, how many of you will feel that it is so difficult? Why should I do this? Every time when we try to, okay, I want to get a transformation, I want to change, I want to go for a makeover. First of all, you have to ask yourself, why I need to do that? Even though when people say, okay, let's go and buy this dress, you wear it, wow, nice, there you go. But in fact, it is not this, for how long you can sustain. And a lot of time this afternoon, I was having a conversation with some of my, one of my good friends. We are talking about, this is not me, how can I present myself? How can I be seen in this a competitive world whereby because of this pandemic, everyone get very aggressive, also known as not only aggressive, people are actually getting very desperate. So how can I actually do this? And do I need to change? Now, when we talk about do I need to change, of course, we need to do something to go there. But in a way, how can we change comfortably without changing who you are? Now, the worst part, don't say about a career. Even if we and our spouse, how many of you say, okay, I'm willing to change because of him or her? And for how long you can do that? And are you doing it comfortably? That's another story that we have to look into. Okay, so when we talk about all this, we have to create the right identity, the authentic one, so that you can be straight away felt the right presence that you want to create. Yeah. So now, speaking about this is one of the second last slide. Who is your authentic self? Now, I'm sure that when we are out there, now a lot of time, if they are not your good friend, not many people know who you are, unless you project it well. Now, so if you actually notice, you are different when you are with different people, okay, but it is still you. Now, just like, for example, when I first started, actually, in fact, since young, I am someone who are very, very shy, okay, and I am someone who are an introvert. No, when I tell people I'm introvert now, actually, none of the people will believe me. You, Xiao Mei, you say you introvert, so talkative. Now, I enjoy talking doesn't mean that I am not an introvert. A lot of people with their close friends, with people they like, they can actually speak like, wow, a few days, few nights, non-stop. But a lot of time, we find that it is so difficult for us to speak into networking. That's why a lot of people, they hate to do networking, including myself. Now, I can do that, but I prefer not. So in a way, when we talk about the inner self of us, how can we make it comfortably? Now, I did mention before in 3 days ago, actually, in fact, we talk about statistically, about 80 to 90%, none of your, after you listen to something, after you listen to whatever you learn, hardly people will really do or take action to find out, okay, what is the things that they have learned, or maybe even hardly people will take action and apply straight away. Now, a few days ago, I shared about application. If you actually just listen and learn without doing anything after that, this particular 1 hour is purely on entertainment. Good to know, okay? But now, if I actually pledge you to do something right after this one, you just need to actually do 3 things. First, take out a piece of paper, write down who you really are. Something that hardly people know who you really are, unless your family members or close friends. The authentic self of you. Okay, so write it down. So after you write it down, then please actually tell me, write down also. No, it's your choice if you want to tell me or not. You can actually contact me after that. The second thing that you need to do, you write down your presence. When will be the time that people look for you? If people know money, they look for you, meaning to say your presence is good. You look like a money lender, or maybe you are rich enough to be. When we talk about no money, this is the first person I thought of. Okay, so your presence felt. Okay, and of course the third one is on your visual image, how you normally appear. How you normally appear. Okay, so now 3 things: who you really are, something that no one will know you except yourself or close friends or family members. Second, your current presence now. Okay, if let's say for example you are someone who are very fierce at home, everything, the whole family need your permission, that is your presence. Okay, and then the last one is your visual image. Now if you are able to align this few, I tell you what, even without you needed to say a word, okay, people will know what you are trying to communicate. It's because in fact presence, yeah, is not only to create. All of us, we have created our own presence without us realizing. We are talking about how can we successfully communicate our presence to others people, okay, to make that particular statement without saying a word. All right, so this is the whole idea of personal branding, on how can we actually create a presence seen, felt, or heard in especially the competitive world nowadays, the new normal. We have no time to go and like, okay, I read it right, so what now? You cannot even see how I wear. It is just a talk. Okay, so meaning to say, a lot of time now we also need the help on digital, how well we are actually transferring who we really are from inside all the way. The A, B, C, and D is actually one of the endpoint, and it is again an ecosystem. Now I actually know a friend recently, and this friend told me that how can this thing ecosystem. Now in a way things have to go round. If we are able to move back to the last one, this is actually called the total image management. The last step is our proven image, and the proven image is your legacy. In a way, you do not need to consciously doing it anymore. Now, many people come to me and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do this. Nobody asks you to do things that you're not willing to do that, because nothing can be sustained, and nobody asks you to do things that is actually out from your comfort. Okay, how can we still maintain the comfort and communicate the presence? This is the science before the art happened. Okay, so that's the reason why I always find that when people talk about personal branding, nothing will change before they settle the science part. It's because all of us, we are not changing a product. Product have no emotion, but we are human. We have intuition, we have feelings. So all this have to be addressed before we are able to sustain and successfully communicate our presence to others. All right, so now, thank you so much for this one, for this 25 minutes. So for those who actually email me on the three things, I can actually help you to analyze on what is the losing balls, or where is the leaking buckets. Because in the end of the day, a lot of people are finding how, what should I need to do? Most of us, we want to, but of course, if we are not sure on what is our problem, then what can we do? Because the problem of a lot of people in this world is that they do not even know they have problem. They don't realize they had a problem. Now, of course, if you know, that will be best. But of course, the worst thing is ignorance. You know, but you're not doing anything to address it. Okay, so please do email me, and then please, if you want to, let me know what was your pick on the sixth picture. Okay, and most of the people are actually picking C. Okay, and of course, I'm not sure the who are picking the C, but in fact, yeah, out of the training, I have actually used this for a few years, all levels, all the countries that I actually been before. I showed this one, and we can actually have about 60 to 70% people are picking C. Okay, so if you want to find out more, write to me, because my time is up. So thank you so much. Back to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Wendy. So now it's a time for Q&A. We have about a few minutes more to 10 o'clock. I think we're managing the time very well. There is a question from Eric Sia to Wendy. What is communication under image? Can you elaborate?
All right, thank you so much. Now, when we talk about communication, yeah, definitely is under your image. Now, can you actually imagine, yeah, if a person look really good, okay, and once a person start to actually walk out, from the minute this person walk out, and from the minute the person start to speak, everything has to be aligned. Now, let's say, for example, if you say that this person is actually one of the director of the company, what do you expect this person to speak? Okay, so meaning to say, yeah, every time, thank you for this one. When we talk about image, it also involves perception, not only perception and impression, and expectation also come into the picture. So communication is a way that on when we are aligned from how you look, okay, to how you behave. This is actually on body language, and from what you speak or how you speak it. Now, actually, the B and C, behavior and communication, is part of EQ. Now, EQ is something that the society is losing. People talk to gadget more, and in fact, I am a technology dinosaur. I've actually shared this last few days. I am half a technology dinosaur. I hate talking to the screen. I love to see human. I love to chat with human. It's because we can see the expression, we can see the emotion. Now, communication, after so many years into this industry, after a while, when we talk about image branding, most of the people, they are not lacking on how they appear. In fact, they are lacking on how they communicate. A live good example, recently I have someone who came to me and said, okay, I want to actually explore more on this industry. I say, can I know your reason why you need to do so? So unfortunately, sadly to say that she is actually being abused mentally by the husband. I say, why is it so? Because the husband every time he say, Ayo, I bring you out, you xiasui me. Xiasui means that you are actually embarrassing me. I said, why the husband would say so? Because I do not know how to actually communicate well with the tai-tais, or the friends, or even do not know how to actually speak to others. When is the right time to speak? Now, speaking about this, communication is also part of business etiquette. When we talk about business etiquette, a lot of people always tell me, no need lah, I know lah. When we are outside with people, we must actually speak carefully, speak appropriately and stuff like that. But the question is when to start speaking, what to talk about. So all this is part of the image. And we can only say a person is with good image when all the five or the four are aligned. We cannot say you are pretty, then you have good image. Wait till you start talking. You get what I mean? So that's the reason why communication falls into image. And when we actually train a comprehensive image class, it cannot leave out communication. Communication, okay, it takes up 38% on getting things right, and it is also one of the presence. Now, a lot of time, communication, especially now in the pandemic, it is even more important. It's because when we talk about talking to the gadgets, now we are actually having a live or whatnot, you might not even see my face, or even if I actually off my audio, you only hear this person. And a lot of time, what people say might touch your heart, not so much on how they appear. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Wendy, there's another question from Carradine Wee. I'm not sure whether I understood his question correctly. He posted
Yep.
on Facebook, so I'm going to read out exactly what he has written. Question: For the past decades, many focus on the first six. I don't know what is the first six he's talking about. Positive conversation response, including confidence, handshaking, eyeball contact. I think he means eye contact. How does switching to digital online, pitching online conversation, how does one bridge the gap?
Exactly. Wonderful question. Thank you. Of course, the person who asked this question, also this person is highly in IQ. I have to say that. Now, a few days ago, I sent out a proposal, and then of course the client asked me the exact same question. Now, how is all this relevant? The eye contact, of course, let's not talk about handshake, is because I think we need to have a few months or maybe even a year cannot actually have personal contact. Now, speaking about eye, do you know eye signal, or maybe the eye contact is so powerful, and eye contact creates first impression. Eye contact is something that people will have to oblige to you. Okay, I always actually stress on this one. If let's say when we talk about image consultant, a lot of time people might think, wow, image consultant very stressful, you have to dress up, you have to this one. So there was one time in an interview, a person asked me, how if that day at night Eddie and you are not makeup, and then when you are out there, how can we maintain a very good first impression? I have shared this numerous times. Two things we need to practice. First, how you actually have your eye contact, how you look at people. Second, how to smile. Some people, they do not actually give a very good impression to people is because the lacking of sincere smile. They are smiling, but in fact, the smile do not look sincere in a way. Okay, so now eye contact is something that how can you look at the person, how long to look at, for how many times do you look at, and trust me, if you practice on this one, you will get what you want, and you can even make the person to come and talk to you just by playing with your eye, but not the flirting part. So don't get me wrong. I think I beg to differ on that.
So there's one more question from Eugenia Soon
Yeah.
to you again. What is digital? Do you mean like Instagram and Facebook's appearance?
Okay, when we talk about in Insta or Facebook, everything these are actually on social media. Okay, when we talk about digitalization, everything which is on digital, in the digital world, it includes. Let's say, for example, my side. Yeah, to me, social media is actually maybe second. To me, digitalization includes how you communicate well in your email writing, how you communicate well in your writing. So digital is no longer face to face. Whatever happened, on the screen itself, all this is actually digital. Even on your WhatsApp, even on your, but social media again is one of it, but not the only. Okay, and it depends on your target audience. Afternoon also over the conversation I shared this one. Now when we talk about Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, it depends on where is your market. Let's say, for example, I have a post, probably I'm already getting a 300 engagement, or maybe a 10,000 views in LinkedIn, but sadly maybe I'll only get 30 in Facebook. So it doesn't matter on this one. But when we talk about digital again, is this digital image is still aligned with who you are from the beginning. Remember, we start from presence. Know how you are being present, in your life at this present moment, and what is your desired one, how you wish to be. If let's say when you actually after this you write down, my presence is always like this one, so meaning to say, if this is actually what you want, work on it, make it better. Or if it is not, then you have to rethink on the alignment. Something must be wrong. Just like if I say, okay, let's go for this one, if you are very good at it and your name is actually not mentioned, meaning to say your presence is not seen, felt, or heard in this track of yours. You get what I mean? I hope I answered that. Okay, working in a startup, how do we initiate right method approach, introduce ourselves using the way self-branding? I also have a problem with visual image, what to wear, color suitable. Well, this is a big project, Ezra. Now, when we talk about no matter we are in a startup, especially startup, is actually tougher. Startup means that you and your business have to be one. You are your business is you. Okay, especially when you are a startup, if you just solo, if you are a geek, meaning to say you are everything representing your company in and out. Okay, so of course, back to your question on how can we introduce ourselves as self-branding. The brand is already there. It's just on how you present to the world, whether it's what you want or not. Now, always remember one thing: if you are confused, I always suggest this one. I rather you just do the basic than doing something which is not supposed to. Okay, this is a lot of people, they are self-sabotaging. Nobody sabotage them, is they are destroying their own reputation. Because a lot of time what have been done means that you curate, and when you are building on it, that is actually the impression forms. For example, we have a lot of trainers who are really good, real good trainers, substance, they have a lot of qualification. But when you actually start to play your price low and you keep on doing that, a lot of people say, never mind, after a while I can up again. The after a while means that if you are actually up at after one price, nobody will take you anymore. It's because the perception of this person, this is cheap. Just like when you want to buy a box of chocolate, okay, how you will choose that? Okay, if the price is high, you will have to evaluate more on that. But let's say, for example, you are getting good stuff at this price. One day, if this chocolate is raised double or triple the price, you will find that it doesn't worth the value. So I rather you not to do the things which is not supposed to, than doing things which is not aligned with who you are, or maybe your own direction. Branding is actually a process whereby we have to continuously do, and then when we are moving into different stages, we have to look into recreating to go align with that one. Okay, I hope I answer your question. But of course, just now I know that you commented in my LinkedIn comment. We can actually talk further on that.
Yes. So now the time is 10:07.
Q&A.
We have do we have any more question, or can we pass the time back to Tim? Tim seems very hard at work. He's not facing the camera.
Yeah.
But I think that is a mark of the artist. He is very, very focused on what he's doing. So Irene actually brought up a good point, that is that when we can't see each other, and we are doing webinar, we are doing a dialogue online, I think it's good to focus your eye on the camera so that the other person feels that he's looking at you. Now, uh, in theory, we all know this, but it's so difficult to do, because if we are referring to our slide, we are trying to look down at our slide, and then we're trying to look back up again. So after a while, we find that our head is doing this. Okay, we're always nodding, but actually that is also a good sign. We are actually nodding. So we have to practice the art of split vision. And the best solution I find is always have two screens, and the second screen is the one that show your slide, and the screen is just behind the camera of the first screen, so that when you're looking at the same direction, your gaze is always at a very, very constant level. So I really admire our speakers who can keep their gaze at a very constant level, while actually be able to focus on the slides. But anyway, if you created your own slides, you'll be remembering every slide actually. So Tim, are you ready on your mic to say anything? We can wrap this up with you.
Sure.
Yeah. So do you have anything to show us?
Sure. I'll show you one of Wendy's slides. Can you see that? So this is one. This is part 2, I think, of Wendy's session, where she's building the model of perception and what people see. And the metaphor is the iceberg, of course. And I thought it was nice how she brought in, the understanding of perception is based on, 55% is based on our visual, what people see. So the importance of that and how we build that and how we do that intentionally. And then memory is the key to creating a lasting impression through, through visual choices, and how can we make people remember. So in line with my brand, this is learning from the brand experts of Wendy and also Andrew. Visuals help people to remember, and I think Wendy anchored that a lot. So that's part of what we do and why we do this, to support people to have a better experience and engagement through the visual tools. Visuals help to make a conversation or a meeting or a presentation, in this case, make it more memorable, make it more meaningful, and make it a little bit of magic. There's that curiosity, there's that childlike curiosity that happens when we see pictures, and we can relate that and connect that to something that we're learning. So I'll leave you with that, Andrew.
Sure. So
Thank you.
thank you very much. Well, Wendy, tonight all the questions are for you. I had a very easy time. So I think it's okay that we extend a little bit, because people are not willing to go to sleep yet. So let's continue this. Felix Kim asked this question: given that our various social media channels serve different audience, all right, like for Facebook account is for friends, and the Facebook page is for sharing of skills, perspective, and so on. So wow, I don't know actually what is the question. Okay, I actually do not know what is the question for Felix, because he didn't really ask. Oh yeah, below. So actually so how do we calibrate our approaches to all the different social media strategy? Actually, this sounds like a question for me, but since he asked you, I leave it to you to answer.
Maybe you can actually go with your professional view first, Andrew.
I think it's really the audience in those platforms. I always say that social media is 3 parts. Content is your value, engagement is your context, is your conversation, and your community is actually your tribe. Your platform is actually your playground. because sometimes you want to be serious, you go to the library, all right, that may be LinkedIn, and sometimes you want to go to the coffee shop, that would be your Facebook, and sometimes you want to go to fine dining, maybe your Instagram. So depends on your appetite, and that is okay because we are not one dimensional. All right, it just happening the most. That may be the perception that you're having. So maybe there is identity. Your follower will be from LinkedIn. So if you are like a social superstar, then your follower may be from LinkedIn. And if you're a millennial, you can connect with a lot of young people, then your follower may be on Instagram itself. So I think let the platform tell you rather than you design a different thing to different platform, because then people will have a hard time trying to identify. I personally have met a lot of people profile, they say they're hardworking, they're proactive, they are, they are forward looking, and then on their Facebook they're cursing a boss every day. But you think the recruiters are not intelligent enough to do cross checking? They will. So I think the key word is identity, like what Wendy say, and consistency. But that's just my answer. What about you,
Yeah,
Wendy?
we are about in the same page. Like this is how the game is supposed to play. When you try to get everything, in the end we get nothing. When we talk about getting nothing, you cannot actually create different content for, this is you appearing in your IG, in your this one. It's because I always find that no point to actually stretching too hard. If that is not yours, try not to be everywhere. It is only one you. That's why it makes you unique, and that's how this is your brand, this is your presence. When we are trying to capture more without the right strategy, and then we get nothing. So for the explanation on what Andrew have just mentioned is really really good. I have to say that because he is also the expert in personal branding, especially in social media.
Yeah. I actually find that when I work hard on one profile, that following and that engagement increases. And when I don't spend effort on it, it actually went down. And then when I spent time on LinkedIn, it went up. So I find that we have limited time. Don't do it for the sake of being popular. That is very important. Do it for your specific target audience. There is a group of people resonating with you, and sometimes it's not even where you are on, it's sometimes who you are. So I always believe in be, do, and be somebody. What you do, all right, will communicate who the person is, and what you have, comes after. So it depends. Focus on branding. If you're just branding about what you do, then you better choose a platform. But you want to brand about who you are, then the identity will cascade down to every platform. So I hope that answered your question, Felix. Thank you very much. Okay, we are going to close here in 24 hours time, at about 9 o'clock tomorrow. All of you will get a email from us for follow-up. You will have the please write to Wendy. Wendy's email is already there, so please email her. And for myself, I will email you the code so that you can use this code to take whatever course that you want at a flat fee. So, but of course, most of the courses are free. So it's okay if you do not want to invest in any of the premium courses. You just want to stay on those courses that is free. It's fine with me. All right. So if there's something on behalf of all our panelists, I want to say thank you to Tim, who has been quietly doing all the drawing, and his lovely other half, Irene. Irene almost said nothing, but Irene is really the brain behind the business. So they complement each other very well. And I think Tim is about to show us something on the screen that's in color. So tomorrow or very soon on our social media, you will see the sharing by either Wendy or myself, or even on their page. And their page is Art Awakening, right? The Art of Awakening. All right. So we all need to be awakened to the new dawn, the new era, that the new normal is here. So on behalf of everyone, of course, thank you very much, Dr. Wendy Liew. We're going to say goodbye, and we're going to wrap up here for this webinar. Thanks for staying with us until 10:17. Until the next time, it's bye for us. Bye-bye. Bye bye. Okay, gonna end the meeting.
Mm.